Yo, port my game, please. I'm getting desperate. Hey, everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Kids today. And only today, we are here to talk about some big Sonic potential news. As always, we've got some more developments on the Sonic Frontiers DE, an interview by Iizuka that has shed some light on the future of some Sonic games, and a lot more. So stick around, hang out. You know, the future of Sonic is in our hands. I don't know why I said it like that, but it be what it be. So let's get right into it. The first thing, though, I wanted to talk about and really just is the anniversary. I've seen a lot of people sort of like, dooming about the 35th anniversary. And I wanted to remind people that that my voice crack was crazy there. I wanted to remind people that, like, at the end of the day, a lot of these video game anniversaries are just kind of like a way to sell merch and to market and, to get the brand up and excitement. And it's not always meant to be the end all be all. Like, there's always going to be a game, everything. I mean, look what happened last few times they tried to tie some games to anniversaries. I mean, that's how you get an 06 that ruins your reputation, right? But it's like, I do think there's this feeling that a lot of people end up having that, like, oh, these anniversaries, like, this is when everything is going to go down. When a lot of times, like, they'll announce some things. If there's a game coming out, it's convenient. Like, I point to Mario. Literally, Mario just had their 40th anniversary, and that is the poster child of an anniversary that took advantage of things coming around its time. Like, they count Yoshi in the Mysterious Book as a Mario 40th game. They count Mario Tennis Fever as a Mario 40th game. They had the DLC for Mario Wonder, I guess, and the Mario movie. Now, I really do think all of those just were convenient, and in fact, most of them came out like during the next year, even though, an anniversary is supposed to be like around the anniversary time. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because I saw a lot of people doing, and again, we still have until Sonic's birthday, and we still have the whole year technically. I mean, I know some people are thinking like, oh, it's over, GG's, but I do think like we still have all year where I'm sure they're gonna market 35th anniversary stuff. Like, it's something they care about. It's something that they're gonna do stuff with. But yeah, I want, just to reassure people and chill people out a little bit. Like, we're gonna get cool stuff, I'm sure. And again, it's an anniversary. At the end of the day, it's designed to sell you shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, it's meant to sell you something that you're gonna buy, or just, celebrate the brand. It's not always meant to be, this is the year we get the big game. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of the not big game, we have another update on Sonic Frontiers. So once again, the Sonic Frontiers DE mystery. We've been talking about this game since March, which is crazy. It's so funny how the more it came out about it, the more I'm like, oh, okay, like, this is not as exciting as I wanted it to be. But yeah, so Sonic Frontiers has been seeing its Steam price reduction hit other storefronts such as PlayStation and Xbox. In addition, Steam update was spotted with a brand new asset named Sonic Frontiers Trailer 2026, alongside some screenshots to no more official information. Now, the other thing that someone pointed out in the description here was that, and this kind of just sealed the deal on what this is. So this is the original description of the game, just the generic explanation of what the game is, right? But now, if you go on the new update on Steam, it shows this: the comprehensive experience. Experience Sonic's latest 3D adventure, featuring all game mode and content updates in one package. Beyond Sonic, also play as Tails, Amy, and Knuckles, each with their own unique abilities and fighting styles, and the final Rise of the campaign. Enjoy bonus challenges, costumes, music, and much more via Sonic's birthday badge and sight, sound, and speed content updates. So there you go. There's kind of your answer of what Sonic Frontiers DE is. As much as I wanted more, this does seem like this is just a Switch 2 version that's going to, be the version, I guess, that other platforms have too. Now, granted, right, this could still mean we get a patch, right? Like, if they are having this version of the game, they could still patch the game on launch day to fix the pop-in, which I still think is pretty possible, because I remember the biggest issue about the pop-in was accounting for the original Switch version. So maybe now that they have the Switch 2 up and running, they can update all of them with the pop-in fix. So literally at this point, my hope and prayer is literally a patch. Like, we've gone down to that point specifically with Sonic Frontiers DE. But yeah, I think this description pretty much seals the deal on what it is. It seems like it's going to just be it's the Switch version. I've noticed a lot of games are doing this. Like, Elden Ring is getting the tarnished edition for its version of Switch. That's going to be the version for all platforms. Devil May Cry got a new name, like Devil May Cry, like, Blood Devil Edition or whatever, and that's going to be on Switch too. But I think they're just trying to move, like, the Switch 2 edition name away just so that, like, it looks more appealing on all platforms. I don't know. Again, to be fair, like, in Sonic Frontiers, packaging all the updates is a little weird, you know what I mean? Like, okay, like, it's an update. Is it really something that you needed to package in, right? Not really, but I don't know. Regardless, we finally have our answer on Sonic Frontiers D. I will say, you know, on some light note type B, I still hope for the best for this. I mean, I still hope that like the Switch version is great. I mean, I would love to play Sonic Frontiers portably, and for the longest time, the Switch version has been pretty bad. Like, I've never wanted to touch the Switch version of Frontiers. I did it like one time, and I was like, oh my god, this is not good. So it'll be nice to finally have Sonic Frontiers running well, and hopefully we can get that kind of patch for all the other Sonic games on the platform, especially given, like, you know, we know they wanted to do well on Nintendo consoles. So yeah, that should solve the mystery of Sonic Frontiers D, and at this point, it's got to be like a launch day thing. You know what I mean? It's got to be something like that, but we'll see what happens. Now this right here got a lot of people excited over the weekend. There was an interview with Iizuka that went down around Summer Games Fest time, where a guy called Klinger, which when I saw it, I was thinking of Amazing Digital Circus. When asked by Klinger which Sonic game he'd remake if he could, Iizuka responded by saying that he'd want to be able to have every single Sonic game on modern platforms, and that if anything was possible and he could magically do it, he'd want every single Sonic game available. But the effort it would take to not just port but remake an old Sonic game is the same it'd take for a brand new title, and he'd prefer to do new experiences. This is in line with his previous answers regarding a Sonic Adventure remake. This statement by Iizuka just got me so unbelievably excited because, like, Sonic, you know, has had such an issue with preserving its history on modern platforms. Like, Iizuka finally acknowledging that, like, yeah, he would actually like every Sonic game on mainline platforms is kind of a big deal to me, you know, because I'm like, all right, this is finally, I feel like, the acknowledgement for the first time that, like, he actually wants all the games available on modern consoles. And I feel like that also, like, to me, that made me think it's a hint. You know what I mean? I feel like he is kind of saying that we might just end up getting a collection or something at some point, you know what I mean? But he does once again point out the fact that, like, yeah, when it comes to remakes, as much as he would like to do them, he wants to move to new things, which again makes so much sense, dude. I mean, look, Sonic is right now in his bag, right? We all agree, like, massive movies. Frontiers was a big success. Shadow Legends was a big success. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is a success enough that we'll talk about something else for it. Like, Sonic is in a very good place once more, and I understand Iizuka, you know, I actually gotta respect you, especially coming out of Summer Games Fest where, you know, more remakes, right? And we are constantly seeing the remake page turn out, which, like I said, I don't mind remakes. You guys let me know in the comments section below what are your stance on remakes, but I don't mind remakes. You know, at the end of the day, like, it's one of those things of, do I need them? No. Are they great when they're out? Yeah. That's sort of how I feel about them through and through, right? But at the end of the day, when it comes to Sonic, like, I understand Iizuka being like, I want to make new shit before I make old stuff again. You know, like, we are right now in our prime of making cool stuff. In fact, we just got out of Sonic fans complaining about old stuff. We're still dealing with old stuff in Sonic. I mean, Sonic Frontiers literally had the cyberspace levels, which had, you know, Green Hill and Sky Sanctuary and Chemical Planet as themes. Like, I think even he's aware that, like, yeah, let's try to, you know, focus on all new stuff for Sonic. You know, I mean, this franchise deserves better, and we should keep going. So I understand what he's saying on here, but I do hope him even acknowledging, you know, the other Sonic games tells me that, like, we need them. Like, I find it ridiculous, to be honest with you. Like, my biggest criticism of Sonic games nowadays is that, like, dude, how is the Switch, like, almost 10 years old, and we never got Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 on there? It is criminal. You know, I feel like, you know, dude, I'm seeing, like, collections for stuff like Toy Story, right? Like, Toy Story just announced it's getting an extensive collection. Let me find it for you guys. Let me grab this Toy Story. We're gonna do like a live video. Find this, like, this Toy Story collection right here. Like, this is the type of stuff I want for Sonic. Like, where even if a game looks old and rusty or whatever it is, like, I still want these games available. And we know they're capable of doing it. I mean, Sonic Team has always been a fan of collections with more than you would expect. You know, going back to the Sonic Gems collection, the Mega collection, even Sonic Origins, right? Like, they like doing collections that have extra stuff, and they like extra content in games in general. I mean, Shadow Generations, like, and Sonic Gens come with a lot of concept art you can unlock and music and all this stuff. But I would love something like this for like the classic. So, you know, give me something like this, give it to an external team that would be, you know, pretty good about porting these games, and people would be happy. I mean, dude, as much as people don't like, you know, the Steam ports of those games, I even feel like people would be happy to just have those games available on console. So that's all I ask of Iizuka at Sonic Team is like, all right, you know, we can focus on remakes eventually, right? But for now, I at least want the library available. I mean, dude, especially like Sonic Heroes, like, dude, Sonic Heroes is lost into the abyss. You know what I mean? It's like, unless obviously you dolphin it, you know, or emulate or whatever, like, you can't, like, you can play Adventure 1 and 2 at least, right? But a game like Sonic Heroes is massively popular. Like, just like, you can't play it on any modern hardware at all. So they got to work on that, you know? But I'm happy again that Iizuka, at the very least, at the very, very, very least, is acknowledging it. You know what I mean? So hopefully one day he will be able to magically do it. But until then, we'll see what happens on that front. And once again, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds continues to win. In fact, in this interview, Iizuka has literally confirmed the possibility of a year 3 for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. So he stated that if people keep buying the game and year 2 DLC and keep playing it, that they'll be able to do year 3 and work with IPs they weren't able to get before. This is awesome. Can you believe, by the way, we are on a year 2 of CrossWorlds DLC with the announcement of a possible year 3 when we haven't got anything for Mario Kart World? Who would have thought that, like, out of Air Riders, Mario Kart World, that Sonic Racing would have been the one to, like, be the constant alive game? You know, and of course I want more content in Mario Kart World. Let me not fib, right? But this is awesome to me. You know, this is super cool to hear that they're working on a potential year 3, or maybe they will. But I would love to know how much it sold, because I feel like a lot of people, you know, were thinking it didn't sell that great. But I kind of disagree, man. I feel like they put this game on discount so many times. They keep marketing it, and I feel like it's a game that is just like consistently selling enough for them to warrant a year 2. And like year 2 has some like pretty good collabs. I mean, they have Toho already for Godzilla. They have Evangelion. Like, God knows what anime packs we're gonna get. But I honestly like am way more excited for year 2, honestly. Because while I really like Pack 1, I did feel like, you know, very big Nickelodeon emphasis. But if year 2 is gonna focus on anime, I am like so much more excited. I mean, we already have Godzilla and we have Evangelion, which shows that they're trying this time around to aim for the more like Japanese market, you know, in general, like anime, how big it is nowadays. But this is gonna be awesome. Now, I will say some upsetting news that we found that in these interviews is that the Godzilla pack is not gonna have Godzilla playable in the game, which, you know, to an extent obviously makes sense, right? Like, you know, I get it. You know, there's Godzilla in the flesh. I know some people were like, well, they've shrunk down Godzilla before they could do it. But it's just one of those things that, like, I get, but I hope the pack has more, at least, you know, if it's just gonna be like this level and it's the same price as a regular pack, it's going to be a little bit disappointing. Maybe it'll come with 2 stages, right? Maybe there will be a CrossWorld and a main track, but I feel like they are aware that, like, yeah, it'll be a little disappointing if it is just the racetrack, you know, especially when, like, it's not like the whole pack is like this. I mean, the Evangelion pack has the stage and Asuka and Ren playable in there. So it's not like this is something that they're going to be doing just for, like, all of them. It seems like this is just a Godzilla issue, but hopefully they figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully they figure something out. But I wonder if maybe for that pack we'll get costumes. Like, I feel like I would be cool with that. If the Godzilla pack was potentially maybe like, all right, what can we do here at least to make things better? What if we got some character costumes in the pack with the Godzilla thing? So, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best there. But of course, in the comment section below, let me know what you would want to see for the rest of year 2 and for a potential year 3. I mean, I want Dragon Ball. Like, if you were asking Fidel, like, Fidel, you get to pick. All right? It's no one's opinion matters. Budget don't matter. I would go Dragon Ball. I would go, this is a tough one. I would go Dragon Ball. I would do see, now you're putting me on spot. I would put Dragon Ball, I'd put Dragon Ball, I'd put Dragon Ball, I'd put Dragon Ball, no, I'd put Dragon Ball. I would love Nintendo, but it's not gonna happen. It's funny because I got a lot of the ones I would want. I've always wanted Pac-Man in there and Mega Man in there. I would love an FF crossover. Kingdom Hearts would be unbelievably cool. A Full Metal Alchemist pack would go really hard. I'd take a One Piece pack, honestly. One Piece pack, have Luffy on the cart, Nami, Zoro. That would be awesome. But then you get like a cool pirate ship track. I mean, you already have, what's it called? Pirate Bay or whatever it's called. So, or not, is it Pirate Bay? What is it called? You know what I'm saying? The Kraken Bay. Pirate Bay is the torrent website. And the next major piece that got a lot of people's heads turning is this right here. So Sega is heavily recruiting for Sonic Team. Now, this got some people excited and it got some people confused. So Sega's on a heavy recruitment drive for Sonic Team with a range of roles being advertised to scale up the team, presumably ahead of the new mainline Sonic entry. Vacancies include a producer role along with a lead planner. So these aren't just run-of-the-mill positions of Sonic Team. So they have a scenario writer, right? So handling game script creations, director coordination, and voice recordings. Time to turn those fanfics into canon. Well, maybe not all of those. That's a cute little add-on. Producer, so managing the overarching project pipeline, proving that Sega is dead serious about fortifying Sonic's development line. A lead planner, driving the overall game design, tracking, planning milestones, and shaping the core gameplay loop. Lead graphics programmer for the rendering geeks. The role focuses on the researching next-gen, rendering tech and designing custom renders. Client programmer, technical art manager. So yeah, these are pretty major roles. I mean, for like a producer role, a scenario writer, and a lead planner. I mean, these and lead graphics designer. These specifically are like, this has to be for a different team, you know. And we know in general that Sonic Team wants to expand. Right, like we know that they have a bigger budget. We know that they have multiple teams. I mean, they had a team working on Frontiers, they had a team working on Shadow Gens, and they internally worked on Sonic Race and CrossWorlds. So they did have 3 groups of people working on games, right? Like this is not something that's like, you know, it's not like they have one team working on everything. They clearly have a lot of people working on different stuff here. And so this to me is not a sign of, oh my God, the mainline game is so screwed, it's so far away. This is a sign of, they probably already have Kishimoto and a bunch of people on the next Sonic game, and this is probably for another project, you know. And I think this is in continuation of their effort to want to be more like, you know, maybe like Mario, where like you can have a, you know, a Luigi spin-off series in a sense, like a Donkey Kong or a Wario, right? Like I think, you know, Sonic games deserve that. Now, are all Sonic characters on that level? No, but if you build up to it, they could be. I mean, Shadow already. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that Shadow eventually is just gonna have his own game series, right? Like, I don't know, you're already 2 games in with Shadow Gens and Shadow 05 from back then, but I don't know, like Shadow the Hedgehog, Shadow 05, Shadow the Hedgehog, like, and Shadow Gens, obviously it's not a series, but like Shadow is big enough that he can hold his own game, you know what I mean? And so if they even want to do more stuff like that with that character, and maybe, you know, that's how you get multiple characters in there. I mean, like, look, if in Frontiers you get Tails, Amy, Knuckles, and maybe a different character, maybe in another Shadow game you get, you know, Rouge playable, and you'll get Omega playable, and maybe you'll get like a different character in there playable. Maybe that's how you get a Surge playable in one of those games. So yeah, I don't think this is anything to doom about. I mean, this is exciting to me. This tells me that like Sonic Team is making more beyond the next mainline game. And of course, you know, video game companies, you guys, we don't know this, but like video game companies always usually know what's coming in the 5 to 8 next years. You know what I mean? Like whenever we're standing right here talking, they know their next 5 to 8 year plan, depending obviously on the success or failure of things. So yeah, I think this is at the end of the day very, very exciting stuff. I think we're gonna get more games. At the end of the day, that's all we want. I did see also, first of all, Pico Park got some nice awards at Summer Games. I did see though people interested about this. So Iizuka is actually going to be a guest at Anime Expo this year. He's going to be joined by Toei and I think some Atlas producer, right? Takashi Iizuka is a veteran of the video game director, producer, creative officer of Sonic. Iizuka has been the driving creative force behind the Sonic the Hedgehog series for 30 years. His contribution began with Sonic 3, including Nights into Dreams, Sonic Adventure, Adventure 2, and among many more. So yeah, he's gonna be at Anime Expo. He's gonna be joined, I believe, by, you know, a few others. I think he's gonna be joined by Toei and a few others. I'm not sure, but I remember like seeing that somewhere. But regardless, interesting spot for Iizuka to be, right? Hopefully some kind of animation potential reveal. You know, I think it would be time. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while, and usually Sonic doesn't go too long without some kind of animated series in you know, I feel like we had Sonic Boom and then we had Sonic Prime for a while. And so Sonic Prime, as criticized as it is, it did really well. You know what I mean, on Netflix. So I can't imagine they're not gonna do something else. I mean, dude, come on. Guys, let's be honest. Just get the guys who worked on the Shadow Dark Beginnings animation and the Knuckles product to make a Sonic anime. Like, or a Sonic, show. Like, that would just... It's perfect. That's it. You have already like fanfare beyond belief. You have a successful series right there. Like, make it a little bit more cooler, a little bit more serious, like, and just have something crazy in there. But regardless, again, this could be a nothing burger, but it could be something. You know how we are here. We hold on to the nothing burgers or the somethings. But regardless, it seems some exciting stuff is coming in. Oh my God, wait, I forgot to talk about something else that was pretty important. If we go on the CrossWorlds account, actually, they gave us something that people have been sitting down speculating about, and that is the calendar for June. So for those that don't know, they've been doing monthly calendars for the game, and this is what we got for this month. So no Legends comp this month, no free character. They're just doing decals every week, but the 23rd looks like a little hidden character spot here, including the 29th with a question mark. And some people are pointing out that usually, like, whenever they put this, they'll put Legends, or they'll put on the left, right of it, festival or something, So these are specifically 2 blocks that say 35th and question mark. So they're probably just hiding things. They'll probably update this when they announce, whatever it is. But exciting stuff, man. I mean, this is the week. If we're gonna get announcements and news and stuff, like, we are nearing that announcement time frame. So hopefully next time we do one of these videos, Essential is announced, a game is announced, something is announced, we go crazy, we get hyped. But yeah, guys, thank you all for watching. You guys are the best. Thank you all for watching. You guys are the GOATs. You guys are amazing. And yeah, and I hopefully have some exciting stuff coming up as well that you guys are going to be really proud of. So we'll see that soon. So guys, I love you. Thank you all for watching. You guys are the best. And of course, I'll see you all next time. Peace out.